What is going on, guys? It's the Mad Dragon. It's a Tuesday, which of course means new update time for Rugby 25. Last week's updates, hit and miss. Tuesdays, I honestly really enjoyed. Actually was having quite a lot of fun with it. I was conceding tries, the AI was doing well, I got a fun game. Thursday's update came out, really felt like it took a bit of a nosedive. I didn't enjoy it that much. I played a couple of games at the end of that day on Thursday. I was away since Friday. Did notice out on the weekend that even like Ross put out a tweet saying like they've had a lot of feedback saying people have not enjoyed it as much. So they've obviously been keeping an eye on what's been going on the FAQ pages and seeing the response that a lot of people didn't really enjoy Thursday's update. So hopefully they've been able to fix some of those issues going into this week. We have got patch notes, so we'll start out with the patch notes as always. Timestamps in the timeline and down in the description as well if you want to jump to any section. Now, nothing on the official pages, but the FAQ page does have our patch notes. J&T coming in with the new ones for today. A shout out to J&T, by the way. As someone who does, like content creation stuff, has to deal with like YouTube comment section. I was away since Friday, but I kept an eye on the FAQ pages. Man, people smash into it on the FAQ pages. It's a tough task, and J&T has been with this, from the very start, trying to deal with that FAQ page and getting involved with the community a lot more and keeping us up to date with these, the actual patch notes and stuff as well. Which, if they're not coming out on the official channels, he's over there putting out on that. So shout out to J&T for really sticking with this game and working hard, because it can be a minefield over in that FAQ page with some of the criticisms going out. But let's jump in to the patch notes today. Improved momentum. Players will maintain their momentum while receiving offloads. Now, this was something that was in, and it's sort of over the last few patches felt like it has got worse. I've been noticing, support runners are much further back, much more deep, and receiving a pass, they will sort of jutter, stop, and then sort of get going again. So hopefully we'll see an improved momentum. Improved AI defensive line. The defensive line of the AI will be more realistic, particularly scrum half behavior. What does that mean? I'm very, very intrigued if that means like they're going to guard around the ruck in a better way to stop my scrum half, or does that mean their scrum half is going to start doing some stuff? Looking forward to see what that means. We'll jump into that one today. Improved penalty decision making. The AI will not pick to take a scrum for the majority of penalties, with greater situational awareness applied to penalty judges. Now, this was something they said in one of the other updates. They said, we've basically got rid of scrums for penalties, and they didn't. It didn't change basically at all. So we'll try and get penalties there. It is getting harder to give away penalties. I think I can do the hold on to the ball mechanic and try and cheat some penalties out, so we'll test if the AI actually does, make those decisions made. High tackles has become tricky for me. Some people in Thursday's update were saying high tackles were constant, like 7 or 8 high tackles a half. I couldn't get any, so I don't know what I was doing differently. And then, of course, improved stability. Now, like I said, I haven't played this since Thursday, to be honest. So I don't know if they did any sort of Saturday updates, like they've done some of these hot fixes on a Saturday. I don't know if they've changed anything. Haven't even had a thought about some teams. I kind of want to do higher rated teams again, because we want to test this defensive. I kind of want to go for teams about the same level, or England, Argentina. There you are. Hey, there's a fun little game to do. Let's jump into that. We'll check it on a different stadium as well, because some of the newer stadiums have some really fun atmosphere going on. I think we did Madrid. Let's go there. There we are. Why not? No other changes in the settings. Nothing else going on there. We'll leave it on hardest. We want to test. We want to see if the AI can put some scores on us. People have been saying on the Discord that the AI actually beat them in a couple of games, which is nice to see. I want to be losing occasionally on hardest. I don't want to just be smashing the other team. So let's see how this one goes off. So we're going to be testing the offloads, the AI defense. We kind of want to have a lot of the ball today. Improved penalty decision making. So we'll try and get away penalties. We'll try and go for high tackles. If not, we'll do the holding on to the ball in the ruck. We'll try and collapse scrums on purpose. We'll try and give them some penalties and see what they choose. Argentina got some good kickers in there. Not sure who their default kicker's going to... Oh, they don't have Boffelli, so I assume Santiago Carreras is going to be their standard kicker. We're looking for them to be taking 3 points, going for the corner and stuff. This is one of these stadiums that has the different walk-on. I prefer the ones where they run on down the tunnel, and I would always want to see the players run on down the tunnel, but some of these new stadiums do have it so that they run on from that sort of side camera. England versus Argentina then. And them to start us out then. Santiago Carreras to begin this one. Let's get us kicked off and underway. Anytime, Santi. Let's get on with it. There we are. Boom. Right. So we want to hold on to the ball kind of as much as possible. We've still got these big lifts as Freddie Stewart takes that one in. Maul. Scrum half still picking up from the maul. Immediately is something that it does bother. I couldn't even add people into that one then. Let's... Ooh, some awkward passes there. Let's try and make a bit of a breakthrough here. A little offload. That was a decent little bit of burst. We had an awkward pass for that very first one. Let's just take this one in. Oh, trying to go for one more offload. You know what? I'm willing to say that one could be a little bit more risky. Very, very late offload, just sort of pop passing it out. Didn't feel like it went to hand, but then do you want it to go for hand from there? That's another good tackle. Trying to still test these offloads. Let's go right again. See if we can make a break on the outside there. Oh, we got a bit of pace around the open side flanker there. Oh, and they went for the dive tackle. That's nice. Can the fullback get back? Good tackle by the fullback. That one felt quite nice, actually. Don't know why a flanker's out there on the wing defending me, but let's see if we go for one more for... Oh, a Toje loose pass. And a spin! A spin from the AI! I don't know if I've ever really seen the AI go for a big spin like that, but okay. Right, let's... we've got to try and give penalties away as well and see what they want to do from this sort of position. So let's just see if we can take this one off them. Hold my my defensive line pretty well. Now, I'd be expecting situational awareness, they said, only for penalties. But again, right here, you know, I'm expecting to set up for dropping it in the pocket, trying to clear it out. Maybe go for a box kick, just to regain some territory. Of course, they're going to do the standard thing where they just... Nice! Nice little inside pass. Anyone going to be able to get back for that? Still... Well, that's a breakaway try by them. What a fantastic breakaway try. Which is, you know, nice to see. There's still a bit of an issue now. Santiago Cordero's a pretty quick player. I had Henry Slade chasing him. I feel like I expect Cordero to win that foot race. But if you can see again, Henry Slade, a George Martin in the number 5 shirt, Cordero at the 15. We're all running at the same speed. We're all still really running at the same speed. I still don't think they've quite worked out the sort of attribute versus speed thing. It really feels like if the player has the ball, that speed thing only really affects them, or if it's the player I've selected, the speed only really affects them. You know, I wasn't playing as George Martin there, but he was keeping it with Henry Slade. You know, that's not happening. At full tilt, that really shouldn't be happening. Can we just have a quick look, by the way, because I want to sort of go and have a quick look at this. This little play later. Now, again, I'm still expecting the AI should be doing a safer play of going for a box kick and exit. Of course, bump off and hand off is still a broken mechanic in the game where they can basically throw everyone off. A nice little run here by Kramer, and then takes on the double tackle and throws that out the back door pass and gets it. Now, you know, am I expecting Curry there to really make... Curry certainly looks like he, you know, almost tries to catch the ball himself. And then, of course, he's then, you know, 15 feet away. He's not going to be able to make that tackle in there. Would be maybe expecting him to get that. Also feel like, have they changed some of the player faces for these? I feel like Marcus Kramer's changed a bit. I feel like Marcus Kramer actually used to look quite a lot like Marcus Kramer. But overall, a good try. You know, that's a nice little breakaway try. There's just a few little things that are like, I don't quite know what I meant to do there. You know, they do the handoff. The handoff is a 100% success rate. I can't defend it. I had a second tackler there. They missed the tackle. They then did an offload, which my guy also went for the animation of a catch. And, you know, therefore missed his tackle. And then everyone is the same speed at full tilt sprint. So can't make the tackle afterwards. There's not really a lot I can do about it. It doesn't feel like it was a very defendable position, other than if I happen to have, you know, Freddie Stewart in the fullback position there to have maybe got across to cover that one. Nobody had the pace to be able to chase it down. Oh, we got... Oh no, I thought maybe we'd had our first stuck in the ruck penalty for a good while. The AI still looking for a lot of offloads. So, you know, I don't think that's a bad thing. I'm on hardest. You know, I'm expecting them to be able to work through my... my defensive line a little bit more. Those offloads are certainly going to create an issue for me. It is one of the things that when you have a get... Oh. That was rubbish by me. Not going to be able to get across for this one again. We'll go for the shoulder tackle and held up. That's good. I like that, and I've seen this a bit more from my own sort of play testing. There's a bit more now of being able to get across here and making a tackle... That's not a very useful camera angle for what I'm trying to explain. Let me skip past it. I've seen a few more recently where the type of tackle impacts the decision on the try, and I really, really like that. So this one, as you can see, I went for the wide tackle. I got the shoulder, allowed my second guy to get in there. Good tackle coming in by Freeman, and I've landed on top of him, and he's got the ball on his chest. That is classed up now as a held-up ball, and they can't reach out and do it. Whereas if you tackle, like, around the legs, and you... like tackle them to ground, they can reach out and touch it. So it's almost like the type of tackle you make and the type of animation that plays out impacts whether it's dotted down for a try or held up. And I really like that. I think that's awesome. I would maybe like to see a bit of a further animation where if it was going to be held up, that you could have, you know, a second player also jump on them and hold on to the ball and stuff. You know, I'm asking for a lot there, but, you know, but I like that it seems to be actually picking the situations to allow them to put the ball down. I think that's been a positive step. It's not really something they've talked a lot about in patch notes and stuff, but it's just something I've noticed from playtesting. But we survive that one. The AI is certainly putting us under some pressure today and breaking through, which is nice. I'm glad they're doing it. I actually feel like that one was a bit more of my own mistake. I didn't have a great line there when I was picking the player and therefore ran out of my defensive line. I think what I was trying to say before about the offload game is I like that they're going to start doing offloads more and be able to put some pressure on me. The only thing with it when you have such a high offloading type of game, it was kind of the same in Rugby 22, is the defensive players' mechanics have got to hold up very well in order to feel like you can deal with them. There was another drop there. There wasn't a knock-on given for it. But the game really needs to allow you to feel like you can deal with that as a defensive player. Oh, we got a bit of a break here as we get Ollie Lawrence on the outside. Went for the offload again. Couldn't quite get that one away. You know, but if someone breaks with the line, I feel like the physics of the game have got to be very, very firm in order to allow you to be able to move your players to get into a recovery defensive position or something. Oh, they're going to bounce just into the corner. Oh, it's so close. Oh, okay. People still not picking up the ball. That's a bit of an issue. I think about 3 different players there could have picked up the ball. Are they going to kick this one away, or are they going to go for the play out there? Whereas at the minute, this game, just defensively, mechanics-wise, doesn't feel like they've... Oh, we can just full-on play into their... Oh, and they've also not got scrums implemented from being put back over their own try line. That's awkward. Yeah, I don't feel like the defensive mechanics are quite solid enough yet to allow you to recover from these offloads. 2 or 3 offloads, as would be the same in like online games. If you can just spam offload and get them away really easy, it's pretty hard for you to be able to deal with that as a defensive player at the minute. So, you know, I'm hoping those mechanics get tightened up a bit defensively in order for you to be able to recover from a team getting away with just a single offload and then running 100 meters up the field. Let's go for another little kick over the top there. I liked that tactic before. Oh, a little bit too much that time. In all honesty, the line-out plays are still very, very janky. You know, not going at all to who I'm choosing off those line-out plays when using the target passing. It feels very like it always has to go to that first man. Oh, they went for that was an interesting kick. Going across there. These offloads are still feeling a bit like the players are not really what you want them to be doing. You know, I've gone for a pass there. I've still got my support players are still so deep. I'm trying to pass right here. I wanted to go to Ollie Lawrence there. Passes it vertically, you know, backwards, you know, 15 yards. Gets it to Henry Slade. Great. I'll take this one into the tackle, then one more pass. Managed to get that one away. But still got this kind of start from Ollie Lawrence there. You know, I've got a really nice offload there. Sprint onto it and run into the tackle. But instead, Ollie Lawrence does this little movement just here. Let me run it very slowly. He sort of starts, and then he sort of goes again. He sort of has to take a step back in order to like line up for it. It's not quite the same level of momentum of feeling like I should surely be able to get that pop pass away there, and number 13 is splitting that gap, and he's just you know, he's going to hit this gap. That pop pass is going to go about here. My number 13 is going to collect that on the full, and then he's going to break this line, and it's just a 1v1 versus that fullback. But instead, the way the offload works is so slow that my guy has to pause, break, and then gets in. And he's actually covered by 2 players after feeling like I should be able to break through that line at the minute. And it's not quite where I want it. So we're still down on the scoreboard. We're still down. We want to test penalties today. Crowd feels a little bit quieter in the stadium as well. I haven't felt like this one's really got off. But the Argentina are giving us a rough old time with their own attacking plays at the minute. Let's see if we can get a turnover early on. Let's see if we can go for the... Oh, I've lost the scoreboard and stuff again. That seems to have carried over from Thursday as well. Another... Often these big units for Argentina are just sliding through my players defensively. Oh, Ellis Gent running over there. Oh, that was a nice little turnover. Okay, that's fine. That was a very, very flat line, but we'll take it right. We've got so many numbers to the right. You know, we have to be able to make a breakaway here. Right, George Martin, take that number. Right, out to Freeman. Can we get around the outside? Oh, actually managed to break through. One little offload back inside to Mitchell. That was a nicer phase of offloading. Still feel like they managed to cover that very well. Feel like I certainly had it there. Maybe I shouldn't have given the pass from from Freeman after he broke through the tackle. But that's nicer to see, you know, players actually breaking through tackles rather than needing to just always go for the bump off or the handoff. Oh, a bit slow to pick up that one there. Ellis Genge. And that one's a try. So that one was a tackle around the legs. 13 got back to me. Went down, did the tackle, but got me around the legs. Didn't take me, you know, over the shoulders and turn me round. Therefore, don't know why that pass didn't work. Felt like that was a pretty good, you know, offload there. Got the tackle around the waist. No one able to get there. And therefore he's able to knock it down. I like that that's a change now that's come in where you can really hit either or. That is a hell of a curve on Marcus Smith's kicking. Let's just see if we can get this one over. Ooh. What a wild banana kick that was required. So let me just take this work. Let me see if I go with my scrum half, if that means they're going to be a little bit more aware of them. Their scrum half tackle me there very, very quickly. They really weren't messing around that time. Let's see if we can go. Oh, that's a nice little breakaway here. Caleb Murray, very, very slow for a winger, it feels like, at the minute. But managing to get around the outside of a 6, that attribute still feels a little bit better. It seems to be like the attributes for speed seem to be very sort of situational. Tommy Freeman again. He's faster than some of their players, but not others. I think. Well. Oh, we're still going. We're still going. There we are. Right. Scrum or drop out? What does the game decide? Scrum. So I'm going to try and steal it, I guess, and then see if I can collapse it. But yeah. So passes, not great. Let's just, yeah, I'm going to just do a bunch of spamming the drill. Can I collapse it from here? Don't know. They are still keeping it in. Still keeping it in. Okay, they didn't want to use that eventually. Oh, they've gone around the outside of me. I managed to break through and got a try. Very, very odd. And sort of things like that, a little bit like what I'm saying, like defensively, nice to see that Bazan Velas actually took it himself, and the scrum half wanted to take that one on rather than the number 8 picking it up. It's whether the defensive mechanics are solid enough. I don't know what I can do there. Yeah, just as the game stands, I even got a tackle in. I even got Ben Earl in on that tackle, and he just sort of shrugged me off. You know, once the ball is picked up, and, you know, and scrums on a 5-metre line, hard to defend in real-life rugby, so that's fine. But he picked up this ball here. He got stuck. It gave me Alex Mitchell. If you watch Alex Mitchell in the background here, as soon as the game starts, the camera's got to rotate. Alex Mitchell, he's gone. He's off somewhere. Don't know why. Because you've basically got to pick a direction. You don't know which way the scrum half's got to go. You just got to pick. I went downwards. I thought they'd go this way. Instead, they went up the blind side. You know, I don't know. Is that Freddie Stewart there? Freddie Stewart. You know, rather than, why is Freddie Stewart not tight here? Why is Freddie Stewart not there to be able to defend this one? And after he goes, Freddie Stewart's over here. I have not controlled him at all. He's run off. He's gone beyond the scrum. Why is he over there? There's no one else to cover for me. I even in time managed to swap from Alex Mitchell to Ben Earl to get that tackle and got shrugged off. I don't know defensively how I meant to stop that. And that's where those defensive mechanics need to be tight in order to feel like you can use the handoffs, use the offloads from a fun perspective. Because if it's something that's just spammable and you can just get away with it all the time, if you can't defend it, it's not very fun. You want to have the opportunity to defend. So those defensive mechanics need to be more sound. But the AI's defense has felt pretty solid today. Felt like they've been pretty on top of it. But your own defensive players just don't seem to really be in a great position. There's another offload, another handoff. Number 5's running away here. Ollie Lawrence managed to hunt him down. That was nice. So that time, a forward versus backs seems to be better when you're selecting, you know, they are running with a forward and I've selected a back. I seem to be able to hunt them down. If they're a back and a back, I seem to not have the pace to be able to chase them down. And if I haven't selected a forward chasing one of their backs with the ball, they seem to be matching speeds, which is very interesting. So I think the attribute thing's got a little bit more to do with who I've selected versus who they've selected, and everyone else sort of becomes a bit of a default setting for sort of speeds. My defensive line is all over the place as well. Like, if you look, where is my defensive line? I'm an absolute bunch ball behind the handoffs are just constant, and they're just going to make meters. There's nothing I can do here. I can't get a turnover. Every single player is going for the handoff, getting the thing. And that's a little bit what I mean about the defensive mechanics. And it's nice that it's harder and you want it to be a challenge. You do want it to be a challenge. But I don't know what I can do to stop this now. They're just marching forward. We've gone from the halfway line. We're up to my 22. I've got, you know, there's a tackle here. You know, there we go. We're playing for it. Look at my defensive line currently. So let me go back to that ruck. They're about to play this out. If you just take a look at a second for my defensive line here. Their defensive line is a flat wall. It is so solid. It looks really, really nice. My line of guarding this ruck. I've not even committed any players to the ruck. I've got 3 guys there. I've got a bit of a line here. I've got my fly halves out on the wing. I've then got Ollie Lawrence is defending for some reason this back corner. I've got a pod of 3 sat behind my ruck over here. And just rumor, like, I don't have a defensive line. I can't work a defense from here. And the AI is, you know, absolutely exploiting it. Again, waiting for people to file into the line. They're getting that ball away. They just hit a gap. They've just hit a gap. There's, you know, and that's great. I'm glad the AI is going to hit a gap. How can I stop this from a defensive start? What am I meant to do here? I'm pressing A. I'm trying to swap players. You know, Itoje's running away from him. Why is Itoje... I've lost my my little blue circle here. But, like, you know, this ball comes in. Itoje's moving towards him. But after he receives the ball, literally runs away. Why is Itoje running away? I've got 2 players back here. I've got Alex Mitchell and I've got Tommy Freeman. For some reason, have stood behind the ruck. I want them to fill in here. I want them to close down this gap. And instead, they both just run forwards. They run into the ruck. And they go through. And they'll score a try. And it's nice that the AI is scoring tries. It's nice that they're able to, you know, get scores on you and they're doing it. They feel like they're coming from, you know, they're just able to do... The AI defensive line never looks like that. The AI is just able to get around me because my guys aren't there. My defensive thing isn't there. So it's very weird to say that the patch notes are the defensive line for the AI has been improved, where it feels like theirs has been actually kind of improved. Their attacking line's been way better. The offload game, the number of handoffs they're doing, they're really putting me under pressure. It feels like my defensive line, though, has taken a huge backward step. My players are nowhere. They're not a defensive line at all. We are just getting knocked over with the handoffs. I've got 3 people stood way behind the ruck. Their mauls work. My mauls didn't. I'm still waiting to test penalties. I can't get the ball back because I'm just getting shrugged off on every single play. There's another missed tackle. You know, in fact, can we have a look at the stats? Where are my missed tackles? 44 missed tackles in a game. You know, it's ludicrous. So they're going to have to work something out with these handoffs to not be as successful as they are. I like what they're doing with the offload game, and I like how it's been improved, that it feels more aggressive, it feels better from the AI. But just the sheer number of tackles they can get through and bump off means I don't really know what to do. At this point, they're going to hit that gap again. Went for Itoje again. I tried to swap here, wanted to be Itoje here, swapped to Itoje, didn't give me him. Hits the gap as well. If the game's not going to help me, they'll dive over. I'm getting hammered here. Great! I'm glad that it's doing stuff. But the game's not doing anything to help me. The game is almost feeling like it's trying to make it worse for me, so I can't do anything. But good. I'm glad they're getting tries. I want to test penalties. So, you know, what would you do now as a penalty? I want to get the ball back for one. I just can't get the ball back. I can't get the ball back at this point. They don't need to do box kicks. They don't need to gain territory because they just use the handoff all the time and just to go for the offload plays. Another handoff. Can I put him into touch this time? Nope, because he just uses a handoff and then runs back in field. I'm very much struggling to know what to do. There's another offload. Right, we've got a turnover. Let me just take this one in because I want to test the hold on. So there's a penalty to them. I've held on to the ball. I want to be seeing them go for touch. From here, they are going for touch. That's a good move. I'm glad they've made that decision. Let's see if they want to kick this out, if they want to play on. I still feel like the AI is going to want to kick this out here. Would a team in real life look to kick it out from here? Probably not. Probably play on. Or maybe they would. But, you know, you've got your bonus point. You've done it. They were clearly setting up for that. Couldn't really test penalties out very well at all there. But, you know, we got absolutely hammered by the AI. Lots to go over. I quickly want to jump in and just test out penalties again quickly. Right, so once again, let's just hold on to the ball. We're clearly going to cheat. Yep, referee's going to give away a penalty there. Hold on to the ball. Have a go at Antoine Dupont. They're going to kick for touch again in their own half. That's absolutely fine. But it's more my own half I want to test. I want to see what they do. I've also dropped it down to easy. It's just to check it out. And the AI is still... The offloads are pretty on. They are loving the offload game at the minute. So I'm going to put them in a pretty good position here. Sort of in front of the 22. Let me do that. I'm going to hold on to the ball. Another penalty. It's 0-0. 3 minutes into the game. I'm expecting the AI here to want to take an easy 3. And do. Nice. I'm glad that, they'll take that easy 3. Put the pressure on. They're not going to go for the scrum. They could have gone for the corner. Let's put them in a bit of a tactically awkward position. Let's put them right out on this touch line here. So they're pretty far out. They're still sort of on the edge of the 22. But they're a little bit more on an angle. What do they decide to do from here? This time they'll go for corner. Now you're 3-0 up. Could maybe have gone for the 3 points there. They haven't. Ooh. Don't know what happened there. Everyone vanished. But they've chosen to go for the corner. Have they stuck it in the corner? It's not the greatest kick. They've really not made the most of that action. They feel like they could have certainly got a little bit closer. Let's just try and get in here. No, we actually got a turn over there. Right, now we're going to put this one out. So now we're very, very close. We're right in front of the posts. Another 3, or are they going to go for the corner? This time they go for the 3. And let's do that. You know what? I think they're making some good penalty decisions here. I feel like they're making the most of these opportunities. If they're going to go for the corner, they're going to go for the 3. I'm wondering how much it's based on what area of the field they're in. Was the decision made? Is sort of how that works itself out. But I feel like they've made some good decisions there for penalties. All right, then, thoughts and feedback on this Tuesday update. Let's check the patch notes back up on screen, and we'll have a bit of a run through them then. So, improved momentum. Players will maintain their momentum while receiving offloads. I don't think it's... I feel like it's improved. I still feel like we've had issues, though, with getting away my own offloads and being able to get them to another player and have them run on. There still seems to be a bit of a juttery effect that they're not really running onto the ball. They have to sort of pause to receive it, and then it's allowing defensively for the AI to get back across and shut me down. That one we had specifically with Ollie Lawrence really felt like I should be able to get that offload, hit a gap, but instead he takes a huge step backwards and then moves on to collect the ball and sort of gets it. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm fully on board with saying that the momentum is there. For the AI offloads seem to be all over the place. They seem to be absolutely wild. But again, for me as the player, I feel like not really having that full momentum to run onto the ball and be able to make those breaks. AI defensive line has been improved. The defensive line of the AI will be more realistic, particularly scrum half behavior. Now, I honestly don't know what the scrum half behavior means. I tried to pick it up with my scrum half and got tackled by their scrum half. Their scrum half just felt like he was in the defensive line. I don't know what that means. But defensively, their line seemed much more sound. It was a bit of a nightmare to get through. I was really struggling to make ground through there. Of course, I'm not there spamming the handoffs. I'm not, trying to break the game up. I'm trying to just play a game of rugby and do a lot more passes. Maybe go for those offloads, of course. But the handoff mechanic, I'm really trying to avoid doing it because I think it's quite a cheap thing to just do, and I don't want to have to do that in every single game. But the AI defensive line seemed pretty sound. They got some good tackles on me. They really were not letting me through. A big opportunity. They got back and made some really good try-saving tackles. It's on hardest difficulty. Solid defense. I would say that defensive line has been much improved, actually, and I was struggling to get through. They had some good coverage there. Improved penalty decision-making. AI will not pick the scrum for the majority of penalties with greater situational awareness. From doing that Australia-France one quickly, yeah, I would say there was some good situational awareness. If they were within range for an easy 3 points, they took the 3 points. If they were on the scoreboard, they can just tick away in the lead. They did take 2 opportunities. If they're out towards the touchline, they will take those kicks to the corner. Maybe they could have taken that one to post as well, but it's certainly a harder kick. They look for the corner. It's just going to be how well that the AI lands those kicks. That one certainly could have been put in my 5-meter channel, right? But they put it just inside the 22. I would like to see the AI be a little bit more punishing with the position of the kicks they managed to land and stuff. But I would say that has been improved. We didn't have a single scrum from a penalty. But the situational awareness much better for me. Improved stability. Stability still seems absolutely fine. Patch notes wise, I think this has been quite a positive update there. I feel like there's a lot of positive things to talk about. There are some concerns here. We had an incident where my scrum half chucked the ball 100 meters back down the field. That is one I haven't seen for a long time. That's crept its way back into the game. The AI attack. Now, I'm playing on hardest difficulty with a team of equal rating, right? It should be tough to be able to go up against. The AI attack is still feeling that it's so hard because you want them to be good. You want them to score tries. You want them to get across. When you have the mechanics, though, of the handoff, the bump off, these offloads being flawless, easy, that you just spam them and they just work and it's 100% successful and you just sort of get away with it. When you have those sort of mechanics in a game, The defensive mechanics have to be able to match it. At the minute, I don't think the defensive mechanics in this game are able to cope with how easy it is to do a handoff, break the first tackle, and how easy it is to just spam an offload and get away from it. The AI seems to know you're going to do it. They seem to have players constantly running, round the back of other players. So if you get an offload, they've got coverage. My defensive line isn't doing that. I have got 5 people in the defensive line, whereas they have 13. I've got guys sat behind the ruck. I've got 3 people out on the wing with tons of room. If they play a one-off pass, for some reason, my guys are running away from the player. They're running beyond where the ruck even was. Why are they running all over the place? My defensive mechanics as a player don't seem to be able to hold up against the ease of the mechanics from an attacking player standpoint. And I can imagine that progressing into multiplayer as well. If you can just spam the handoffs, you can just spam the offloads, and it's just so effortless. It's really hard to shut them down because they just get away with it all the time. So at the minute, I'm glad they scored tries. A couple of them were really nice. Glad to be seeing the AI doing offloads. That one from Marcus Kramer out the backdoor pass, offload to Cordero, bang, he's away. What a great try. That's fun to watch, and it works well. But it just feels like there's nothing I can do about that as a player. I made the tackle, he got the handoff. I got a second tackler in, gets an offload. He's got a player sprinting. My guy's player sprint is matching it. Freddie Stewart's not in fullback. I can't cover him. None of my players are faster than him. I can't do anything about it. That happens in rugby, which is fine to see. Those attributes on speed still don't feel like they've quite matched up. I still feel like I can't necessarily chase down a player. I can't get there. The AI fatigue seems to be matched very much by my own players. I can't really sort of chase them down. I haven't tried using subs to see if that makes a difference. The aggression, though, from the AI to use a handoff on every single carry and do an offload on basically every single carry makes it very sort of choppy. Like, I don't know what I meant to do. The turnovers have become tougher, which is also good, but I don't know how I can get the ball back as often if I can't make those tackles easier, if I can't have players covering me to be able to make those tackles, if I can't rely on my own AI players to at least be in position for me to swap to them and make a tackle, I'm in desperate trouble trying to have that, against me. So at the minute, there's bigger issues maybe than I was expecting. Nothing that's mentioned in the patch notes there. I'm not sure if that got changed in like a Saturday hotfix or something, because I wasn't here. At the minute, the AI seems very, very tough to be able to shut down. The amount of offloads is over the top. We saw at the stats of that game. What did I stop on? Like 60 minutes. I had 44 missed tackles. I don't know if I've seen a game of international rugby have 44 missed tackles. That's so many because the AI is just able to do that. I really think the handoff mechanic needs to be looked at in this game and dulled down a lot. It is way too easy to get away with a handoff and just get through that first player every single time. That needs to be more directional. I think, you need to push the handoff maybe towards where the player's running at you from and for you to make that decision, for the AI to make that decision. Or if, maybe if you've performed a handoff, maybe it's much harder to get the offload away. Or maybe for the offloads to just not go to hand as easy. We had a couple of offloads I did where for some reason the offload sort of went out the back, but it bobbled along the ground and a player had to recover. Maybe going for an offload should be much, much harder to go to the player's hand. Maybe it needs to be a case where if you go for the offload, it's a bit more, sort of wild. You're just sort of chucking it in the air and hoping your guy can get onto it. At the minute, the AI can just do an offload and it just goes straight to the hands of the next guy and he breaks that line. I still think there needs to be tweaks done around that attack, but I'm glad the AI is aggressive. I'm glad they're attacking me. I'm glad they got a win. That's probably that might be one of the first videos I've ever done for A25 where the AI has been able to beat me. I felt like they beat me. I couldn't do anything. They were just dominating me, which is, fun. I want to be seeing that on hardest difficulty, but it's got to feel like it's a little bit earned. At the minute, it does just feel like the AI is just going to run through your defensive line. You can't do anything about it. Your defensive line's not going to be there. Your players are going to be nowhere near the tackler. If you chase them down, they're faster than you. If you make the tackle, they break it. If you make a double tackle, they offload. It's like, I can't do anything to slow them down. I can't really win a turnover. Turnovers are tough. So I think tweaks need to be done. Not mentioning those patch notes, but as an experience, it's feeling still a bit rough, but I enjoyed that challenge. I might play this a bit more over the next couple of days and see if I can feel like there's actually a broader way to play this that isn't just me doing handoffs and me doing offloads. I think at the minute they are the cheapest mechanics in the game. Bump offs, handoffs, constantly spamming the offload and stuff. It's stuff I would like to see less in rugby games, and as it's gone from Rugby 20 to Rugby 22 to Rugby 25, it feels like it's become more and more advantageous to play that way, as opposed to choosing passes correctly and trying to get around the AI defense and trying to do it's just let me use this cheat button that lets me get through or lets them get through me. I feel like some changes need to be done there. But that's my own thoughts and opinions on this one, guys. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment sections. If you played this update, if you've been playing over the weekend, or if you're just watching the video, what your thoughts are on that game. Always enjoy having a read through the comment section. Of course, get over to the FAQ page. Let those guys know your thoughts on this update as well. And I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.